um, with you guys again, and I hope we get plenty of participation. I know I've gotten hundreds of messages this week, and I almost got to all of them. So if I didn't get to it yet, a message that you sent or a question or comment, if I haven't addressed it yet, please be patient because it's only me. I don't have an assistant. I don't have a. I'm trying to convince my sister to help me out, but she's a workaholic, so she's always doing her grind, um, running stuff. I almost cursed, running stuff in where she is in San Diego. So just awesome. I have the best daughter, the best munchkin in the whole wide universe. So, and if you guys get tired of me talking about my munchkin, well, that's too bad because it's my baby girl, and she's the best, man. She is the bestest baby girl in the whole wide world. So I don't care what you say. That's what she is. If you have kids too, I'm glad that you love them as well. But my Munchkin is the bestest Munchkin in the whole wide universe. So that is a great place to start today. Um, this week I received a very big amount of messages from youth, 20, 22, 23, and teenagers, and it was very it was overwhelming, but it made me. I was so happy seeing this because that means that we got some young people out there who are the voices of today and tomorrow, and they're eager to learn and eager to listen and to receive things, and which a lot of us older people, it takes some failures and some butt kicks in order to be that receptive. So I'm so glad and feel blessed that I have a whole young crew of folks from around the country that are writing to me and asking me about what things that they can do to be effective during this humandemic. What I call it, the humandemic of racism and so on. So let me start as I always do. The mission statement for Food for Action is that I and we acknowledge and express the racial divide, racism, oppression, exploitation, systemic racism, and violence against Black women, Black men, and Black youth in the United States and all over the world. And I and we will proactively help to create a path to a true United States in America. In other words, when we engage like this, whether it's on my platform or any other platform, our intentions are to let the things that we are told by people, to let the new things that we learn from either me or from other folks, that we take those things and we process them, and then we use them in a positive way to affect and cause change in our communities, wherever they are. Rather you're in the suburbs, rather you're in the hoity-toity hills, or rather you're in, in the ghetto or in impoverished part of a community as well. So we all have a part to play in the understanding of what we are going through as a nation. A lot of people say, well, why do you still talk about this stuff? Because slavery was so long ago, and people try to deny that there is this thing called systemic racism. So I broke it down this week in a few different ways, because I want everybody who, especially the people who deny it, I want you to understand what it is. There was a person who commented. I made a post. Let me see if I can find the post. Okay, I made this post this week that I shared with everybody. It said, "Blue, I don't exist. Stop drawing equivalence between racial identity and a job. Your career is a choice. Being Black isn't." So, in other words, I was born in this skin, just as you were born in whatever skin you're in, whether it has lots of melanin or little melanin. We were all born in this skin. We didn't choose it. We didn't. Well, some people choose. Like a lot of ladies go to the tanning place booth and all that kind of stuff and spray tans and what. that's a different. But I was born this way, and other brothers, black people, black men, women, children, they were born that way. It is not a choice that like we can say, you know what, mom or dad, I think I would like to opt into the other level of less melanin. I'd like to opt out, and then somebody presses like a magic button, and all of a sudden you're white, or all of a sudden you were white, now you're black. We don't have that. So as I encourage people to respect and love police, but it is a choice. They're choosing, which is what's so commendable about it, which is so it's so awesome, is that there is a group of people in society, in all neighborhoods all over the world, that make a decision that they would like to protect, serve, and put their lives on the line, just like our service women and men do. And so I think that's so awesome that they do that. Again, we also have to acknowledge that within the police departments, in the policing system, there still exists a lot of racism, a lot of corruption, and we see it every day. And so it's up to us to acknowledge that these things exist, talk about them, find out the fundamental differences, find out opinions and why people see things in certain ways. That's why I invite so many people from so many different walks of life to join the show, is because I don't want to hear from just people who think like me or have been through what I've been through. I want to talk to people who have been through worse. I want to talk to people who have never seen it and think that it's just some fake news, as some folks say. I want to talk to people from every place in this earth, because as I'm a Christian man, and as being a Christian man, it is my obligation to love my neighbors, because God said it. Love your neighbors as he loves you. That's a crazy amount of love. Believe it. It's insane love. And so we're supposed to give that to each other. We don't, and it's sad. It's very unfortunate that we don't do that, but we should. And so my part in this struggle is to via this platform, to engage in people from every opinion, every walk of life, every belief system, just anyone who would like to join the conversation. I believe that it is my duty to help that happen. I want and bring it to the people. And so on this platform, I'm able to talk to people like I've talked to people who are racists, like out and out, hate black people, hate brown people, hate any other ethnicity. I've talked to those people on these shows. And when I'm doing that, hey, Melissa and Sam and a couple other folk, I didn't catch you right away, so my apologies. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you please feel free to write. If you want to talk to me, write a message, write a text, or I put my phone number out there. Like, I really put myself on the line. So I got everything out there, and I would like to talk with you. I'd like to engage in conversation. And then when we're done, I would like you guys to then continue that conversation with other folks. And let's help try to create a bridge. Let's bridge the gap where there is a lack of understanding, and we can do that. We just have to have that kind of love for each other, for human beings, for other lives, respect for other lives to get that done. So that is what we're doing here. But to get back on track, I made that post, and then I'm talking about some of the most hateful. One of the things that I encourage with folks is that I make sure that we are not taking part in any of those foolish antics, any hate talk, hate speak, that we don't bully people, that we don't chastise folks, that we don't put people down and so on, but we try to engage in as positive conversation as we can, regardless of what those folks or how those folks may engage us. So I got several horrible messages from people this week, and I was floored. I was literally floored, because these people don't even know who I am, and so because that happened. Usually, I'm, as most people know, and I've had a lot of people like my friend Michelle Finney, Christian Carroll, Dean. Sorry, Dean, I just forgot your last name. But anyways, I've had a lot of people who have commented and talked to me saying, "Why do you talk like that? Why don't you kick them off kick them off line, and so they so that they you don't have to endure that kind of stuff." And I believe that God has given me enough strength to be able to endure that kind of conversation, to be able to endure insults. Look, to me, we understand that. Hey, Jim, how you doing, brother? I will check out my domain for the first time in American history. We have concentration camps in America. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out, Jim. Thank you for punching that in. I'll definitely do that, and I'll make sure that it stays up so other people can check it out too. But I just believe that no matter, we all know that words hurt. We understand that in principle, words, as God says, words are like a two-edged sword. And they hurt way worse than anything else, because they hurt you emotionally, they hurt you mentally. Words are either a very beautiful thing or a very ugly thing, depending on how they're used and who they come from and where they go. And so what I choose to do is I choose to not engage in ways that are hurtful. I don't want to do that. I want to encourage the conversation and encourage the people to drop the guards and drop the angst and the all the anxiety that is put into fighting. But let's talk about it, because when we talk about things, when we stay focused with a message and we get folks to hear some of what we're saying, then that in turn becomes something that they think about later, or at least we hope they do. Now, I know this to be true to some respect, because people keep on commenting on the things that I post or say. And so if they're paying attention to that, and especially if they're people that don't believe what I believe, if they're the opposing view, if those people are engaging with the conversations and take the time to comment, whether it's something good or bad, then I know that they read some part of the post. They read or heard some part of what I was delivering. And that is where it starts. And so they might never agree with me or with any positive view or with any facts that I help people attain. But at the end of the day, I know that they're paying attention because they're commenting on everything that I post that they don't agree with. They don't post on the good things, or what would maybe be relative and things that everybody might grab a hold of. Like if I say McDonald's fries are awesome, they won't post on that. They will only post on things that they feel in some way either threatened by or they just, their belief system is so against what I'm saying or what I post that it is more important for them to be nasty and to be hateful in the way that they speak to me. And when they do that, I definitely make sure that I don't return that favor. Now, one of the things that I posted this week, and I'm going to read it to you now, because I was mentioning, and which a lot of people try to deny, is the existence of systemic racism. One of the people who commented on that post that I told you about earlier made this absurd statement, and I'm sorry if it's, because I always tell them respectfully, I have to say that it's not, what you're saying doesn't have any correlation to the post. But so I went ahead and I actually gave people the definition, a very simplified definition of what systemic racism is. And that way, they can then check themselves on what they believe instead of just believing whoever is putting these denials in their head. So here is what I said to people. I said that people keep denying its existence, and I put "its" in quotations. So let me tell you what "it," when quotations, is. Systems from when they were established and that remain in place that create and maintain racial inequality. If that system was established when we as Black people were treated as less than people, as property, if those systems still exist in the form or in their original form or close to their original form, that is called systemic racism. That is about the most pure, simplistic definition that there ever could be. It's. I'm telling you that because people try to link different things together to distort what it is. And so when I say things like that, then I get people saying, well, tell me when you were, when were you targeted with racism and so on. And I was like, wait a minute. Now you're talking about something different. I can tell you those things too. And I invite you to come on the show and talk to me, and we can go over the instances in my life if you'd like to, because I'd rather speak to, hundreds of people and go through this than to just just to patronize somebody who doesn't believe anyways. So what I'd rather do is I'd rather give you the definition of that word so that you can go back and use your smarts, because everybody's got them, and then you can maybe reevaluate your view, because racism and systemic racism are two different things. One has to do with our systems of government, of manufacturing, of politics, of policies. One is that, and all of the different systems that exist, and how they were created without different ethnicities of people involved. It was literally only white folks that were involved in creating these things. And I'm going to actually share with you today some things. For example, a couple of lines from the Constitution, a couple of lines from the Bill of Rights, the preamble to the Constitution. I'm going to share a few things with you so that you can put it into even better context. But to start out, if people understand that a system that was created, so if we have a system right now and it is reflective, it is similar to, it is reflective or the same as the system that originated in the quote unquote with the forefathers or founding fathers of this country, if that system is still in place, it is still an article of something, it is still an amendment of something, then that is what produces systemic racism in all of the different systems of this country, and that is something that can't be denied, because all you have to do is literally pick up a newspaper or go online and Google and read these things. Well, like I said, I'm going to get into the specifics of that in a little bit, but I wanted to make it known that this is literally things that I have to explain to people, because they would rather deny that it exists, and they would rather then call me names rather than to address the fact of what systemic racism is and how it applies to this country. I'm going to read you a couple of things, because so from that post, I got a few things that were said to me. For example, hold on. There is a guy named Bruce Young. He might be one of your friends too, so check it out. Bruce Young said, so after reading that post, he said, and you had a choice to be Black. That blew my mind, because again, there's no possible way that a person can choose to be a color. I can't choose the amount of melanin that is in my system, in my skin. I it's not a request line when you are in the womb of your moms. You can't, there's no little thing where you go in and type it and say, okay, I'd rather have this kind of hair and that complexion and this and that. You don't request these things. It is given unto you, and it is given from God, but through our parents. So I had to call attention to that statement because it was so bizarre. When I read that, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't understand how these people come up with these things with serious faces on. But I answered some of the things that they said, and let's see. Being black isn't a choice, but doing 50% of all the crimes while being black is don't want to deal with the blue, quit being felons. So this is a guy being straight out racist and saying that we do 50% of the crime, and then change the narrative, saying that if I don't want to deal with the blue. But that has nothing to do with what the comment was. The post that I posted was literally saying that don't compare a human being and when they don't have a choice of being a color. I don't have a choice of being black. So because I don't have that choice, you can't say that and equate that or find an equivalence of choosing to be a police officer, or choosing to be a lawyer, or choosing to be a doctor, or a teacher, or a musician, or whatever you choose to be. There's no equivalence there. But because that person said those things, I answered him. And let me tell you this, because I got deep on him and never heard from him again. So here's what I said to Mr. Ricky Siebert. I said, I must address your incorrect, misguided comments with facts and numbers. All those who commit crimes should be punished equally under the law. I believe this wholeheartedly. I believe that people should not commit crimes. There is no color attached to that. That is just a blanket statement for all men, all women, all children, all youth. Don't commit crimes. If you do them, then you should be punished in accordance with your whatever the crime was, and punished equally under the law, and not in more punishment because you're black and so on and so forth. But here's what I did. So I pulled out like lots of knowledge that can be Googled quickly. So I let him know. I said, so after I said equally, all those who commit crimes should be punished equally under the law. Then I began to explain to him. And by the way, if you're checking in, please say hi. If you're looking at this later, I hope you enjoy it and share it with family and friends. Okay. So this is what I wrote. I said, so after acknowledging that people who do crimes should be punished equally under the law, I said, number one, in America, because he wanted to say that 50%, this is, what was this guy's name? Ricky Siebert. He wanted to say that that we should stop doing 50% of the crime as black people, right? So I had to get some stats on him. So here is what we found out. What we found out is that in America, 68.9% of all crime, let me say that again, 68.9% of all crime is committed by white people. 27.2% of all crime is committed by black people, and 3.6% of all crime is committed by people of other ethnicities. Sorry. So 68.9 white people, 27.2 black people, and 3.6 people of other ethnicities. Then I went to number two. 69.5% of all adults who commit crime are white. So we see it rises a little bit. 69.5% of all adults who commit crimes are white. 26.6% of all adults who commit crimes are black. So that goes down a hair. Then 3.9% of all adults who commit crimes are people of other Then I went deeper because I want to make sure that when a person throws out those kind of random, obviously just underlyingly hateful things, then I want them to know all the numbers so they can go back and check and then say, oh, dang it, I shouldn't have said that. So here we go, part 3. In America, 58.5% of all juveniles who commit crimes are white. 37.3% of all juveniles who commit crimes are black, and 4.2% of all juveniles who commit crimes, the juveniles are of other ethnicities. So then, after giving him all of those, now he has stats as white overall, black overall. He has stats of adults. He has stats of juveniles. So he's hearing all of the numbers about crimes in America. Then I had to follow that up because of the fact that he was just pointing out or attempting to point out that he's saying that all black people commit 50% of the crime in America. Then I had to then go to him with these final stats. So it goes like this. Since you're addressing black people specifically, it must be pointed out that all the factual numbers I've provided, which you can verify on the FBI database and the nationwide law enforcement databases, here are some of the facts that alter the numbers quite a bit, that the numbers that I already gave you. So here we go. Number 4. In America, black people are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully committed of a crime than white people. So now what we do is we have to go back to those numbers that I gave you earlier. So 58% of all, 5.5% of all juveniles, 37.3%, 58.5 were white, 37.3 of juveniles commit crimes were black. So going by that, and then we look at the fact that black people are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of a crime. Now we have to start subtracting from the black numbers, not the white numbers, the black numbers. So we get convicted of crimes 7 times more likely that we didn't even commit. That's first. Okay. Then number 5, in America, 7 out of 10 of those wrongfully convicted black people, in those, when they're convicted wrongfully, that wrongful conviction involves police misconduct. That means either they were railroaded, planted evidence, lied about the way things happened in whatever the scenario was. So 7 out of 10 of the wrongfully convicted involved police misconduct. 5.5. 5 out of those 7 wrongfully convicted black people involving police misconduct, the white police officers are the primary officers involved. So of all of those things that we just mentioned, and then we mentioned the police misconduct, of those people, 5 out of 7 of the wrongfully convicted black people, those cases involved white people as the primary officers involved, either in the arrest or in the maybe statements in court or whatever they wrote in their reports that where they twisted the truth. So then I don't want to stop there because I think it's important. If you're going to do it, if you're going to provide evidence, you got to go all the way. So then I went to number 6. In America, black people convicted of sexual assault are 3.5% more likely to be innocent than white people. 3.5% more. That sounds like a small number. 3.5 is a very large number when you're talking about thousands of people, hundreds and thousands of people. Okay? So then 6.5. Of those black people wrongfully convicted of sexual assault, the main cause of those wrongful convictions are, here we go, number 1, misidentification by white people and police misconduct or coercion. That means when, if you don't know, that means when a officer in interrogation and so on, they they go after a subject in their little interrogating rooms, and they beat them down mentally for hours and hours and hours, and get them to admit to things that they're not even they're not even guilty of, but they do it out of exhaustion and out of mental fatigue. And so that is called coercion. So it's white people is identifying the excuse me, the perpetrator, or police misconduct, or coercion by police. And the final note, to round it all off, is that after being exonerated, if they are exonerated, after being exonerated, Black people spend an average of 3 more years in prison than white people before being released. So we all know that once an exoneration happens, you don't directly get right out of jail right away. There's a process, and there is, there's the ability for the prosecutors or prosecuting attorneys to then dispute that and file a motion for retrial or whatever, another hearing to hear some other evidence, and change to erase the change of the exoneration. But when the exoneration goes through, we are on the average of to spend 3 more years after being exonerated, after it's all done and we were found innocent. We still spend an average of 3 more years than white people when they're exonerated. So so I wrote to this guy. I said, I hope this factual, verifiable information helps everyone who reads it understand the huge disparity in the police and justice system in America. Finally, to deny systemic racism is to deny American history and America present day. Or respectfully, if you deny the present day existence of systemic racism, you obviously don't understand what systemic racism is. And then, of course, I gave him the definition of racism, systemic racism, systems from when they were established and remain presently in that place that create and maintain a racial inequality, which our country is just, we're overcome with. We've been overtaken with that kind of treatment. So again, this is how I choose to go about interacting with folks when they say negative things, or when they spread false information, or when they deny things that exist. Is that instead of fighting with people, instead of using their tactics of calling names, or saying horrible, hateful things to me, calling names, whatever, I choose to not take that road, because it really doesn't, it doesn't achieve anything. If somebody calls me, where's this thing? There's this statement that I really have to read to you guys, because it's insanity. Where is it? Well, I'll find it while I talk. So I choose to not take that road, because it doesn't achieve anything. It doesn't achieve anything to use the same weapons to weaponize my words in insulting or disrespectful fashion. Does not get the point across. It doesn't encourage people to take time out to maybe go back over things and reevaluate what has occurred. And so I choose to take that road. I think it's just a much more effective road to travel, especially when the fight is literally supposed to be against racism, systemic racism. It's not supposed to be a fight between me and somebody, because I don't know these people, and I encourage them to talk on the show, because I want me and other folks to be able to come to an understanding of what's happening. So I'm going to think that maybe some of these things got erased. I don't know, maybe some took their erased themselves from me. I don't know. But anyway, so I was going to tell you about something that was said. This guy called me a moron, and he called me just several different names. Ron Cook is the guy. I think I mentioned him to you guys previously. This guy, and he definitely went on a shopping spree. He went on a shopping spree for names to call somebody. And so I had to respond to that, and I don't see that anymore. So he must have erased himself. So, which is his right. So again, though, it's important for me that anybody who takes part in these conversations, who takes the time to engage, I want you to please, 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 please engage wisely, engage with a purpose. Don't engage with angst. Don't engage while you're in the midst of feeling anxiety because of things that people say. That is pointless. It is pointless, and it doesn't achieve a thing. Like, literally nothing. You're actually making the argument worse when you choose to trade, shot for shot, because that means that you're now being just as negative as the person is to you, and so now you resemble that person. Your message now is lost, because nobody's going to listen to you if somebody calls me an a-hole and I say, no, you're an a-hole, and then he says you're an a-hole. Well, where are they going to get the message out of that? They're just going to think like, who's wiser, who's got more, better slick insults and whatever. And that's not the point of any of this. So again, I encourage you guys to engage wisely, engage with a purpose of communicating a valid message, a valid opinion, and then everything goes awesome from that, because that's what's supposed to happen. I wanted to share with you the other thing about Oprah. I posted this thing because Oprah, you get a car, that Oprah, she is doing a episode of her magazine. And in that episode, here it is. Awesome. Okay. So I posted this thing because she put Breonna Taylor on the cover, and she added an awesome phrase. It says, let me see, what is it? Hold on. Sorry. What she said was, where the heck? She said, okay, she said, if you turn a blind eye to racism, you become an accomplice to it. Very simple statement, but oh so valid. I thought that when people saw that, they were gonna, think it's awesome. It's great. He put Oprah on something, because white folks love Oprah, because Oprah is always giving somebody a car and a car and a car, and you get a house and you get a house and you get a whatever. She was doing that for years. And so, you get a facial and you get a facial and you get an out. I mean, just, she's always giving people some stuff, but always also encouraging in her book club and just Oprah's great. I don't care what anybody says. But what I found out when I looked back later on, because I thought that was going to be a good one, everybody was going to love it. Oh, I love Oprah. That's not what happened. The first thing that happened was that I get a message that says Oprah is a huge racist. I was like, what? Like, Oprah's whole dynasty has been built off of awesome relationships with white folks. I have to be honest. It wasn't built off of black folks. Oprah's dynasty, Oprah's whole freaking palace, and her whole, her TV channel and all that stuff, it was built off of relationships with and getting love from white folks. Period. Exclamation point. So for anybody to try to imply that imply that there's something up with Oprah, that's just crazy. Well, anyway, so let me move on, and I will get back to Tracy Rhodes Hatchell eventually too, because they are listening, I guess, to the people who are hiding different evidence that did not make it to their little what do they call it, that panel that found nobody guilty of doing anything to Breonna Taylor. But we can go through some of that later. Um, so it's just crazy. But so then this guy Ron Cook, who's been around for a minute, what some people would call a troll, he says, well said, Obi. You must be a moron. Hope he hasn't said anything with any information since he's been on here. What a liberal plan, and the rest of you useless, wasted, and I think he meant un-American, unpatriotic, that have never served your country. Shut up. Nobody cares. You're an idiot. So this is what this guy does. And I guess I was supposed to fight or something. I see no reason to. Like, when you see something like that, you obviously know, if you listen to one or two sentences that I create, there's, you have to think about it for a minute, because there's logic, and I always add facts, and I always add resources, sources that you can find these things out. So it's just interesting. But then he says, then Jim Durbin says, look at the facts. There is no systemic racism. Oprah, however, is a racist. I mean, listen, it's not even funny. I think the only reason that I am laughing now is out of, frustration. It's like a frustrated laugh to hear people could even say things like that. It's insane. But I even called it out, letting them know, wait a minute, Oprah gave you a car, and you a car, and you a car, and you a car, and her viewership and so on. And so it was just kind of, it's really strange what's happening in society now, where if that guy in the office, or anybody that has any related groups, or money grabbers who want to have a show and copy the opinions of that guy in the office and all that, you find that that when they do this, again, all they do is call names or cast aspersions and so on, but there's never any there's no beef, there's no body, there's nothing. There's no just being hateful. And so, but anyways, so again, I had to talk to my folks, friends of mine and so on, to remind them that don't engage in that kind of battle with people. That doesn't make any sense. If somebody says something that's obviously ignorant, I don't have to say anything to that. Why? Because anybody who reads it is going to know that it's ignorant, or there are going to be people that believe in the ignorance. And it's one or two of those things that are happening. And so when you encounter that, why do I need to go back and forth with that person? Why do I need to tell them that it's foolish? I don't, because they're already sounding foolish to begin with. So I don't have to say nothing. They wrote it. It's there for the universe to see, or at least anybody that's friends with me or them on Facebook. They can see that this guy that they are friends with on Facebook is spewing a bunch of nonsense. So anyways, so what I did was I told everybody, I said, it's very pointed, because I think that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a freaking superhero. She wasn't just a Supreme Court justice. She wasn't just one hell of a lawyer. She was a freaking hero. And she said, one of my favorite quotes, she said, yet what greater defeat could we suffer than to come to resemble forces we opposed, in their disrespect for human dignity. So what that means, if nobody caught it, is exactly what I do. I make sure that I don't resemble the people that spew hatred. I make sure that everything that I'm doing is positive, friendly, but I am going to call things out. I'm going to call it out when people say things that are distorted and twisted. And so So I constantly am reminding folks that that's how we have to do it. We have to be consistent with our messages. When people spew that kind of hate-filled stuff, as the opposition, if we try to trade off, that kind of negative banter thing, then the message is lost. And what point are we doing? What are we doing to help the cause if we engage in that kind of garbage? So we must do everything in our power to be effective in our messaging, even if we refuse to hear it or acknowledge it. It's not about, it almost seems sometimes like people want credit. They want credit because when they say something, it better be acknowledged and it better be heard right away, and it better change a life. Well, what I know in my life, again, as a Christian man, is that I am not here. My purpose on this earth is not to change anybody. My purpose is not to fix anybody or change anybody. My purpose is to be a vessel for change. That means that I find things that people need to hear or should hear, suggested reading. I find things that are wrongs, and I do my best to explain how they're wrong. And then I invite other people who know more than me on the show to that maybe they'll listen to. For example, I have Chris Kirkpatrick. He's going to be on the 4th of October, and somebody may listen to him that would never listen to me. I got by the way, great news that Kimberly Latrice Jones, who had to skip my show last week because of all of the Breonna Taylor stuff that happened, she had to attend some of these things, rallies and such, and do some interviews and so on, because she's not only is she a New York Times best-selling author, but she also is an activist and a community leader, and so people call on her to do these live marches at Marches Speak and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, but she did contact me. I posted it, so I hope you guys saw it. She is coming on the show this Wednesday on the 30th. Awesome as heck. She has got so many freaking, NAACP Image Award recipient. She's doing movies. She's working on another book. Just amazing. And she's engaging, and she helps other folks, and she puts herself out there for other folks. And she doesn't just do her work. She also helps me and other folks to get in, in the circuit or the cycle, to get people. It helps us to get people to become part of the conversation, because there is a part of the machine that where you need help, to get into certain arenas and so on. So she helps me do that, and it's awesome. But I just wanted to share some of that with you. Let me find out something real quick. I need to know. See, I need to find out who has said anything lately, because I've been using my phone to read some of these things to you. So my apologies if you've said anything. I hope that that I appreciate you checking me out, even for a minute or 12 minutes or an hour. Also, I hope that you guys see that I did this thing, because my Smunchkin, when we're together, she is always, when I'm with my Smunchkin, she always has those words on the bottom of the thing. So like how I have the thing running across the bottom of the screen with a message thanking you guys, and how I have the title of the show. Well, I also started putting the, what do they call that? Subtitles. Yeah. So now everything that I say is being typed along the bottom, which is freaking cool. I don't know who does that, but whoever it is, and it's my Smunchkin with an S, not my Munchkin, what they're putting on there. So they mess up with some stuff, but that's okay. but the point is, so now I put that there, kind of like a high five to my Smunchkin, because she has to have those things on no matter what. Even if the TV is at volume 200, she has to have the subtitles. So my Smunchkin, that is for you. I love you. Okay. So yeah. I definitely want to talk about the Breonna Taylor situation for a minute. I talked about it a lot the other day, as you know. Oh, wait a minute. Before I talk about Breonna Taylor, did you guys see the posts, two of the posts that I put up, and some of my friends around the country are putting theirs up too, about from Lindsey Graham's campaign? I received 5 now messages from that campaign, unsolicited, telling me they're going to do me a hold on, what, I forgot what they said. For my convenience, they're going to send me an unsolicited ballot request in the mail, which was puzzling to me, because isn't that what they're trying to not have happen? Their whole mission now is to make it look like there's some mail-in ballot fraud and whatever else, and it'll screw up the election and whatever. So, but all of a sudden, they're sending people, Republican parties, politicians are all over the country sending these texts and these ballots to people. Here's where it gets a little sticky, though. So not only is it hypocritical that they're doing that and then trying to fight against it, but yet they're trying to make it happen at the same time. Not only is that happening, but also they are sending so far 4 of those to me, but I don't know how they're sending them to me, because I haven't lived in South Carolina since the beginning of 2013. That I left and came to Ohio. So I haven't been there. I visited a couple of times, but I haven't lived there and I haven't voted there. So why are they calling me? Why are they texting me for my convenience and sending me, like, where are they sending it to? Like, where are they directing this mail? Because it hasn't come here. So who's getting these mail-in ballot requests, and are they going to be able to fill them out and return them as if they were me? So aren't they now doing what they're screaming that they believe that the left, quote unquote, is doing? So I find it very difficult. And here's the bizarre part. It's happening to so many people. I haven't heard that on any news channel. And I watch all of them because I like to be fair. I haven't seen it on Fox, CNBC, ABC, NBC, nobody. CNN, nobody. Nobody has brought the attention to that. And I'm wondering why. So what I'm hoping is that through all of the people that I've contacted in Virginia, West Virginia, in Wisconsin, in Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Colorado, so many more places, Boston, New York, all the people that I contacted who are now putting their copies of their text online too. Somebody in the on the left would see these things and make a concerted effort to call out this hypocrisy that's happening right this very moment. Like I said, I've gotten 5 of these letters already, and the last one that I got, I posted online too. It said that they're just trying to help, whatever. But I'm like, how are you helping somebody who hasn't lived in a place for almost 8 years, and all of a sudden, because I didn't get these messages last year or the year before or any other election cycle that happened for 8 years, nothing. All of a sudden, this time, they feel that they want to, for my convenience, send me some stuff so that I can vote by mail-in ballot or absentee ballot. That's how it works. I'm puzzled by this. I'm very puzzled by this because I don't I don't I don't understand how that could be. How it could be that they feel that that is appropriate while they are literally. Hey, what's up, Jerome and Farhat? Uh, Thanks, guys, for stopping in. Um, but literally, they're doing exactly what they're saying that and complaining about. Ballots, unsolicited ballots, and they're literally encouraging it themselves through text messages that are traceable. I've called them out. Listen, I contacted a couple people from CNN. I contacted a couple people from NBC. I contacted some folks. So they say that it takes a little bit of time to go through the information to prove its validity and so on. But I have a feeling that that they have just been caught with the hands in the cookie jar in this for it, and all the other stuff that's going on that I've seen lately that even Fox News has had to acknowledge is insane, my friends. So that's what I will say about the ballots and the unsolicited text and ballot request that they're sending to somebody somewhere in my name, because I don't live in South Carolina and haven't since 2013. So hopefully they will get called out by other politicians in their respective cities and states. So cool with that. So about the Breonna Taylor scenario, I think that a lot of because of the political involvement with certain folks, first major faux pas is that the AG of that Attorney General, if you don't know, that the AG of Louisville literally just took part, was one of the main speakers in the Republican National Convention. That's major faux pas number one. How do you have a person who is being fed? He even, his career he came up under Mitch McConnell, I think it was. Yeah, and so it's bizarre how this person is allowed to be the person to oversee and lead in charging officers. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how does that even make any sense at all? Like, recuse yourself is like the first thing that should have happened. But again, what we know now, and what all the deniers will soon find out, is that that this was a whole shaded up scenario. There are lots of pieces of information and evidence that were not given to the what are they, dang it, what do they call that jury? The grand jury. The grand jury did not receive lots of information. For example, they said that that the guy Marcus, whatever, the present boyfriend, that he has a 9mm, and that that he shot the officer first. So what we know now is that because they were saying that they found that they believe that he shot the officer first, because they say that the bullet came from a 9mm and nobody else had 9mm, which is a lie. Because what we find out now is that two of the other officers that were there that night also had 9mm. And what we find out through the legal team for Marcus is that that they have the ballistic records who show that the bullet did not come from the bullet that struck that officer, who was only getting charged with shooting up some walls instead of a human being. He was one of the officers that had a 9mm. And there was another one, and so much. There are so many facts in this case that deniers aren't hearing, and that aren't being pushed and publicized, and that is why the attorneys for for the Breonna Taylor's family and for that for the boyfriend. They are going strong to get all of the evidence, copies of the evidence that were presented to the grand jury, to get that out in the open so that people can see that, because it is being hidden, it is being suppressed now, and there are so many facts. For example, another fact, there were, I think, 10 or 11 witnesses who all of the witnesses from the very beginning, when they were questioned, said that the officers did not identify themselves. The witness who finally, 3 months later, they went back to this guy. And I don't know what they had or so on. By the way, this is public record, this part, that they have the record that witness who finally said that he might have heard them ID themselves, that they have it on record that that same witness denied it. From the very beginning, he was stern about the fact that there was no identifying. That's what the police did not identify themselves. So all these facts that people are hiding, covering up, and whatever are about to be straight up in the open, and then a lot of people are going to feel bad for how they've reacted to supporting the AG and the law enforcement that was involved in this particular loss of life, of this particular murder. So so much. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Yeah, it is a very sad state in America when this keeps happening over and over again. Let me say this. 95%, and it's a little more than that, but we'll just keep it there. 95% of all officer-involved shooting cases never get convicted. They never get charged, and they never go down for murdering Black and brown people. This is a fact. So that means that there's a 5% somewhere who has been charged, and when they did get charged, they were sentenced very lightly, or probation, or all they had to do was never be a police officer again. I mean, why don't we get that? Like, why don't regular people get that kind of treatment? Yeah, as long as you give up being a plumber, in this state, as long as you never try to be a plumber in this state, you're going to be fine. Or as long as you don't fail in resuscitating a patient in the ER, as long as after you've done that, as long as you don't become a doctor in this state anymore, you're cool. You're free to go. This is just the most lopsided justice system. It is the most, and it's so unconscionable how egregious the deficit is for us. Like, we get justice in this country only 5% of the time, and it's really a little bit less than that. But like I said, 95%. I just made it the straight 95, but it's actually 95 point something. But we don't ever get justice, and people wonder, why are we mad? Why are we angry? Why are we talking about this stuff all the time? And it is because the systemic racism is so deep, the laws are so tilted and twisted, that it allows an AG and a police department to literally believe that it's okay to, instead of charging any of the officers for shooting a human being who was innocent, did nothing, instead of getting charged for that, they will take the officer that seemed to be more ill that they fired, and they'll charge that person, but not with the murder of the person that got murdered. They will charge him for shooting up some walls. So basically, plaster and paint are more important than a person. Let me say that again. in this legal system that we live in, plaster and paint are more important, have more worth than a human life. Now, some people say, well, the family got $12 million. I bet you my life that they would rather have their baby girl more than $12 million. I'll bet you anything in this universe, because I know that I don't even want $5. I want the police to take it just like we got to take it. If I killed somebody right now, guess what they would do? I'd be under a damn jail as fast as they can get me to court, as fast as they can get me out of the court, as fast as they can have me locked up, and whatever else happens after that. Why is my life any less important than a white life? Why is my life any more unimportant than a police officer's life? A life is a life, right? A job is a job. A life is a life. So no one should lose their lives unjustly. Not a police officer, not a non-police officer, not anybody walking this earth. Anybody who breathes breath deserves to continue breathing breath until they have done something that within the justice system calls for them to be dead, whatever that is. But it's not sleeping. It's not running, jogging, going for a jog. It's not being in a public park and taking a nap on a bench. It's not a traffic stop. It's not um, um, it's not riding a bike in a bike path. It's not your kids riding their little motorcycle bikes down in the neighborhood because you live in a better neighborhood, maybe a suburbs, or more. You're doing more. You're doing well financially, so you live in one of these high class neighborhoods, and because your kids are riding, their little bikes or electric cars all over the place, then somebody deserves to die for that. I'm just saying that you can look and Google this. Like, there are more reasons that Black people have died over the last 10 years. It's crazy. It's insane. Like, look, what's the kid's? I can't remember the kid's name now. He don't even deserve to be remembered. But the kid who went into the church in South Carolina and killed those folks while they were worshiping and Bible studying, and he gets arrested without what do you call it? Without no problems. They take this kid through the drive-through and get him a sandwich and some fries and a Coke, or maybe Diet Coke. I don't know. But a young boy, kid, has a play gun, a little cap gun, and he deserved to die. A guy was standing on the sidewalk selling Lucy's, they call them, cigarettes. Sometimes they sell, I remember back in the day, they would sell for like, 15 cents, each. So it's kind of like a little side hustle. But a guy is selling Lucy's next to a store, and he gets choked out and dies. So he gets choked to death. A guy goes running in a Georgia suburb, as he's done millions of times, and he gets targeted by a former police officer and his son, and gets chased through the neighborhood by two different a car and a truck that had the police officer and his son in it. They chase him down, threaten him with guns, and then approach him because they blocked him in, and then they shoot him, or the son of that officer, of that former officer, shoots him 3 different times. I think it was 3 and 2. But shoots him to death. How many times? This is America. So don't go jogging if you're black. Don't ride your bike in a public place. Don't take a nap on a bench. Don't be in a waiting room or waiting, like the waiting area of a hospital, and be black, because you might not die, but you'll definitely be abused. Let's see. Don't shop at Walmart and pay for things, and then because somebody didn't see you pay, not that you didn't pay, but because somebody didn't see you pay, they will call the cops and tell the cops that you stole. They don't say, I didn't see if he paid or not. They'll just, right? So abuse happens. Let me see. I mean, there's so many things. Eating ice cream on the sidewalk in front of your house. But because you're black, you for some reason, your neighbors didn't realize that you live there now. So now the police come get you and rough you up. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. The lives that black and brown lives that are abused, black and brown lives that are killed, murdered for nothing, for no reason, no justifiable reason. Let me be clear to all the haters out there who like to say, well, if you just listen to the police and cooperate. No, sir, that is wrong answer. Wrong answer. Because, I have the numbers for this. I think it's like 60, no, it's not. I think it's like 80 something percent of the, when you add all the abusive and murders together, that 85 or 87%, something like that in the neighborhood. And I'll get the numbers to you guys, because I don't want, I like to make sure the evidence is there. But there should not have been incidents. There should have been no call, because they weren't armed and they weren't threatening to the officers. So when people say, well, all the police are good, blue lives matter. Yes, good police matter. Good police, love them. Like I said to you many times, I've had police officers in the family. Some lost their lives. Some just out there still doing an amazing job. Some had stellar careers, and now they're, chilling, retired. I know folks in FBI. I know folks in SLED. I know folks that they're just regular police officers. I know judges. So I know all kind of people that are part of the system. But and those folks are good. But stop trying to deny. Stop trying to convolute the issue and pretend like there are no bad police officers, because I'm here to tell you that, again, and I told you all this a couple of months ago, that in every single major metropolitan city in America, everyone admits that there is an element of either racism, corruption, abuse. There are so many police officers folders that are loaded with abuse claims that just get overlooked. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And so again, look, everything that I'm saying, it all winds down to one thing: vote. If you can vote early, vote early. If you can vote, if you can mail it in, mail it in. If you can stand in line, as long as folks got masks and distance, go do that. However you feel good. I know I used to feel good just walking up in there. You feel emboldened and you feel proud to be able to be part of the process. Go vote. If you do not vote, I don't mean to be mean, but that is the most idiotic decision to make. If you don't like Trump and you don't like Biden, or you don't like Kamala Harris and you don't like Pence, if you don't like everybody, you have to find something that is available and vote for those people, whoever that party is, that people are. I would say that at this point in time, because all of the Republicans were so slaves to Trump this whole time, they back him blindly. I would. This is probably a all year, but I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. Just be present and take part in the system that we all fought to be a part of. That many of our ancestors fought to be a part of. Listen, Wednesday, Kimberly Latrice Jones, New York Times best-selling author, activist, director. She's working on a couple more books. Please join me Wednesday. She instead of being, taking a little time off because of what happened last week and her not being able to be there, she called me, messaged and let me know that she'll be here Wednesday with us, taking out of her rest time to come and spit some knowledge on Food for Action. So please, guys, I'm going to keep on posting it. Please join me Wednesday night, the 30th of June. June. Yikes. The 30th of September. Please be in front of your computers or your phone that night and join me and join the conversation. I'll try to create some time, depending on how much time she has with us, to see if we can answer questions. If you guys want to, write questions, or if you want to join the show, I'm able to pull in a couple people. So during each episode. So if you have a lot of good stuff to say, or a lot of important or invaluable things to say, then I'll definitely pull you on the screen so you can join us. If not, type away. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, man. And that way, I'm trying to create opportunities for folks to hear from people who are out here in the fight. I'd love to be doing it myself. I'd love to be out there. Unfortunately, the chronic Lyme disease thing has me knocked down. And so I have to do my part this way. So I'm trying to bring folks of all different walks of life to the table so that people can hear what's going on and learn the whys and the hows and how did things evolve into what they are now. To blindly form an opinion or to blindly form an ideal just that is just built on one narrow perspective. If you form your opinion about something so deeply embedded in this country, if you form an opinion based on just one side of something, then it usually is going to be an ignorant decision, even if you choose the right side. Because if you're choosing something based on not based on having all of the available information, then how is that a true? How can you truly make that be a part of your belief system? How do you? It's like if I go to somebody and I say there's no such thing as the color blue, and I just hammer that into somebody, and then all of a sudden they walk around for the rest of their life saying there's no such thing as the color blue, but they drive a blue car, they got blue clothes, they got blue house, they got blue, everything's blue, blue hat, blue cat, whatever they got, it's all blue. But they just steady saying there's no such thing as the color blue because some ignorant person said to them that there's no such thing as blue, and they just fell for it. They just went, they bought it, hook, line, sinker, as people say. And that is what's happening in this country today. People are literally not looking for supporting evidence. They're not looking for, they're not Googling it after they hear it. They're not going behind and looking at the evidence and the live proof that is available in so many places. There is nothing on this earth anymore that you can't find out its true origin. Nothing. There's nothing that exists today The only thing that we can question sometimes is where is God? What the house, what does it really look like in heaven? That's just faith. We have faith, so we believe that exists because of all the scores of people throughout history who were part of dictating or commemorating or whatever the things that these people, followers of Christ, said and things that Christ did. So that's probably the only thing that is intangible that we can really, but there's evidence. So it's really not doing it blindly because there's so many sources and so many people that are able to speak on it in such great detail. So it's not. But my point is that so there's really nothing in this earth that we should form our belief system, our opinions on without having several sources to back up that belief, to back up the reason that we chose to believe a certain way. Because what happens is that you find out later when you make a decision, when you start living based on principles that are garbage, that are false, then what happens is that that's what you're spreading to other people too. So it becomes this whole never-ending stream of unsupported things and unsupported situations or people or viewpoints or whatever. There's nothing. There's no validity to it, and then you walk around looking like a numbskull, because you're spewing and have all this confidence walking around, like I said before about the blue. If the color blue, if somebody, for example, let's just be clear, if President Trump went on TV and said there's no such thing as the color blue, it doesn't exist. If he did that, I know millions of people right now, not the vast majority, but a good couple million people who literally will believe it just because he said it. Even if you had a blue toothbrush, a blue car, most of your socks are blue, you have your TV's blue, your watch is blue, your house is blue, everybody at your job always wears blue, your seat that you sit on at work is blue. It's that, as nonsensical as that sounds, that's literally what's going on in society today. We have a person in the Oval Office who says absurd things that make no sense. There's no logic. There's no supporting evidence. And first of all, he'll get his information from some other ignorant person who is saying some stuff that makes absolutely no sense, and there's no verifiable facts or proof. And he'll tweet their things that are false. And then there's a group of folk that are, that guy followers. And what they do is that they end up believing it just because he said it. And it's not just those people. Like a lot of people say, oh, no, that's just some country folk in the hills. No, it's politicians. It's some businesses. It's some teachers. It's some people that are supposed to be helping to instill some wisdom and knowledge into your children. It's so bizarre. I'll tell you one thing that I believe, and this is the biggest truth that I think I could say right now. I believe that if that guy in the Oval Office would take his energy and turn that energy and turn it, motivate, push that energy into actually telling the truth, could you imagine what good he could do? Now, I know that ain't ever going to happen. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying that because I'm hopeful. I'm not saying that because I think it's going to occur all of a sudden. I'm saying that because that is a potential that a person can have. When a person can affect people and they don't even question what he says, like I said, let's do another one. Okay, so I'm about to take a swig of some apple juice, right? Okay. Now I just took a swig of that apple juice And then I watch TV, and that guy in the Oval Office says, "This is just an example, a funny one, I hope." But that guy says, "There is no such thing as apple juice." And so at that very moment, because I am the blind, I literally listen to that and I say, yeah, there's no such thing as apple juice, but I'm drinking apple juice, and I got 12 bottles of apple juice in the cupboard, and I got a couple in the refrigerator. But all of a sudden, I am just blindly believing it because I believe everything that guy says. This is what's happening in this country today. And people, you got to open your eyes. At least do me a favor. So here's what I propose. Do me this favor, and I'm going to let you go. If you could at least, in the privacy of your own home, if you believe in that guy, Trump, okay, said his name. If you believe in him, you truly believe that he's doing some amazing things for America, which don't include, by the way, for black people, because he's not. But other than that, if you believe that he is just doing some amazing things for people, then I encourage you to just question it. Like, just check on it. Not on a site that you know is endorsed by him, but other sources and other people and other friends. Go to people and say, other people, and ask them why they don't believe what he says. Ask some people why, ask some black folk why they don't believe he's doing anything for the black community. Because he's not. He is lying to folks, and you're buying it hook, line, sinker, thinking that he's doing it, and you spread that news too. You put it on your Facebook. It's so crazy. And they put it on my Facebook, which is really absurd, because that stuff is about to die. That ain't happening anymore. But the fact of the matter is that for that part of it, he has not done anything for us. And he is responsible for taking a lot away from us. Be clear. And if you need to know, we can talk about it. But there are so many people that are just spewing, they're regurgitating these falsehoods that this guy says. I'm going to tell you, all that's about to end in, what is it, about 40 something days. So I hope everybody had a blast, for this bit of time that we had with that guy. I hope everybody had a blast. All you folks who believe, hope you had a grand old time, because it's coming to an end. And that's not even a joke. Like, if you get to do what I do and look at all of the numbers flying around, you will see that, So anyways, I encourage you guys to don't listen blindly. Listen to other people. It doesn't have to be me. Go ask questions about the things that you're being told from people that are disconnected or not connected with the people that are saying it. It's very important that you achieve a real opinion based on collecting all kinds of facts and figures from all sides before you just go out and just start spewing something that you heard from just one side, because you might be committing a big fraudulent scenario, and you're responsible for putting that stuff into your family and into your children, and you're creating a whole slew more of people that are walking around blindly and spewing ignorance. And it's got to stop. It really does. It's gonna, but I'm just saying, you might want to get ahead of this one, because a lot of people are going down. A lot of people are, a lot of senators are not going to be senators. A lot of Congress folk are not going to be Congress folk any longer, because they are about to get voted out. A lot of local, just telling you, a lot is about to change for good, for the good. And be on the right side of this stuff, man, because if you're not, you're going to be on the laughing stock side. You're going to be on the embarrassed side. You're going to be on the side that you're literally going to have to come to reckon to a reckoning with yourself about the lies and falsehoods that you just bought into, and you've walked around for however many since 2016 with your head held high, spewing nonsense and believing every nonsensical word that those people in that party were telling you. And it's going to be a sad day for a lot of people. And I don't want people to be sad, man. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to be happy and to love each other and just promote love and happiness and togetherness, unity. And let's make this an awesome world and an awesome America that we should have become because of the words that we spew in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, and so on. And by the way, on Wednesday's show, besides having special guest Kimberly Latrice Jones, we're also going to talk about the Constitution, talk about the Bill of Rights, and I'm going to give you some information that you need to know so that you understand the position that we're in as a people and why we're so jaded with the systems, and why and how I can also, again, prove to you that systemic racism does in fact exist in a major way in this country, just through some words in these papers that we're supposed to cherish, these words that we're supposed to cherish, these writings. So I will provide that on Wednesday before we bring on Kimberly Latrice Jones. Also, you guys, make sure you look up MLO footwear. They're a partner of mine now, and my shoes are on the way, so that's going to be cool. And I'm going to be definitely sharing about all their different shoes, and I think they're doing other kind of apparel now too. So we're going to go through all of that. But please make sure that you check out MLO. You can see them on Facebook and on Instagram. I think the website is www.mlo.shoes/. I think I'm right about that. But please check them out, and I hope to be showing you their shoes live on my, put a shoe on each shoulder because you can't see my feet. But I'm looking forward to getting those. And again, I want to welcome them to the Food for Action family, MLO, word up. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Again, Kimberly Latrice Jones on the 30th. And my brother, my friend, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC will be with us on the 4th of October. So those are two back-to-back shows that you got to be checking out. You can't sleep on Food for Action. All right. You guys take care. Have a great week. I'll see you Wednesday. Until then, I love you guys. I'll see you. Same black time, same black channel.